Hey guys, welcome back to the Turbo V6 YouTube channel. My name is Brandon. In today's episode, we're going to be modifying the stock computer hardware just like we did with the software. So stay tuned. So here we have a stock P59 PCM. So it's a 1 megabyte PCM. It has the blue and green connectors that basically differentiate it from the early LS1 computer, but it's pretty much a direct replacement for any P01. You just have to do some tuning changes and then a couple wire changes, and it works just as well as the 411 or P01, but this one has way more free space in it. So this is the one I'm using for my custom operating system. And now we're going to be upgrading the hardware. So not something that people do very often, but I've found a little something that should make me be able to tune the stock PCM much easier than any other method. So in this little package, I got all the way from Australia is going to be the secret sauce on how we can flash real time so we can make tuning changes on the fly. And the logging rate is also 10 times faster than any other way that you can log right now. So we're going to open this package, open up the computer, and see what we have to do. Okay, got the PCM pulled apart, got the new board out of the bag. So now there's a couple steps to be able to get this board in here and functioning. One is we have to basically pull all of the solder out of all of these pins that this board connects to. So there's basically a header that is populated with a bunch of pins, and all those pins need to connect to the board through this kind of debug set of pins. And then the other thing is we need to remove this chip. So this is basically the flash memory on the PCM. So this is basically where your operating system and calibration is stored. And this board basically replaces that chip. And it also allows the ability to both read and write at the same time. So the computer can access the data on the new board, and also you can overwrite the data on the board at the exact same time. Whereas with this, you basically cannot operate the engine and flash at the same time. You know, there's a couple other companies that came out with something like this, but I think this is going to make a huge difference in the ability to tune this thing. So I'm super excited to get this thing in and working. I'm really going to be interested to see how quickly we can data log and how much data we can generate and how close we can get the tune, because we won't have to stop and reflash. We can just, hit up arrow, hit down arrow, and modify the tune real time. So let's get the solder pulled out and test fit, and maybe also pull that memory chip. Alright, so I'm making good progress. I got all of the solder out of all of the pins, and the daughter board does sit in there. I made sure it fits in there. And I also have the case marked where I have to clearance it because of these pins. They come right up under that, so I want to relieve that. I might just chuck it up on the mill and just zip that out with the end mill, just so it looks nice and clean. little relief cut there, and should be good to go. You can see I got the chip off. Basically just put a bunch of aluminum foil on the computer and cut out where the chip was. Used the heat gun, just basically heated it up, and then once it got hot enough, all the pads, the solder basically was molten, and just kind of flicked it off, and it's good to go. Didn't have to worry about ripping the pads off or anything like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it until I can solder the board on. I still will need to cut a hole in the cover on the other side where the RJ45 connector goes. So I'll basically be able to communicate with the PCM with Ethernet cable. So it's way faster, and it allows for a way higher logging data rate. So yeah, I'm gonna have to cut the whole square hole for that thing. So yeah, let's cut the hole in the cover next. I got the hole cut right there in the top of the cover for the RJ45 connector. And yeah, now I need to cut the insulation piece, get the board mounted nice and snug, and then solder all the pins. And then really I might test it tomorrow. Make sure everything works, and then button this thing up. So yeah, that wasn't too bad so far. Just have a couple things to finish up, and then hopefully we'll be able to start tuning with this real time. So stay tuned, we'll get back to it tomorrow. Hey guys, back at it again. And now we have a nice cutting board. I'm gonna use this as a piece of insulation between the main motherboard of the PCM and the daughter board that we're adding, so that none of the contacts can short out between the two boards. That would be bad. So yeah, we'll get that thing cut up and start soldering this board on. I've done some testing on the bench. I've verified that this ECU is now functional. I can connect to it via Ethernet with my laptop. Everything seems to be good to go. So now we're gonna be tearing it back apart and cleaning it up, trying to make it look half decent. So you can see there's a bunch of corrosion. I think I pulled this one among many other ECUs out of the junkyard. So it's been, you know, in the weather. So it's got some white rust on it. Doesn't look the greatest. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and tear it apart, clean it up. And to do that, we're gonna be using my pressure washer. Do the same thing I did on my intake manifold. You can see how different the surface finish is, but I actually used a adapter for my pressure washer and glass bead blasted that intake manifold after I was done welding it. All right, so here you can see the case off of the ECU, the board, and you can see now a little bit better the clearancing that I had to do for these memory chips, and also this little piece because of this header right there. So we're going to be cleaning up both of these pieces. I'm not sure if I'm gonna clean this one up super good. I don't know, I thought about polishing it because it's already pretty a nice finish. So we'll see how well I can clean that up. But this is primarily what I want to clean up just because of the corrosion. So what I'm gonna do is put these screws back in these corners so that the threads don't get messed up. Okay, so I got the pressure washer set up, got the ECU case right there, and I'm gonna be using this number 10 glass bead media. I actually attempted to use this when I was trying to glass bead the intake manifold. Obviously, if you haven't watched those videos, you can see how nicely this did, except it wasn't aggressive enough to take away the grinding marks on the manifold. So I switched up to a 80 grit. This is 100 to 170. So yeah, I'm gonna hold the part with the glove so I don't crush my hand with the glass bead. And probably gonna get a bunch of glass bead all over the place, but that's why we're doing it outside. That's messy. Wow. All right, well, let's get this cleaned up, see what it looks like. There we go. It's not perfect. It's definitely got some staining, but there's no longer a white kind of crust on all over the aluminum. It's definitely got some dark sections from, heavily corroding. But if I really care that much, I could always get this thing powder coated and then it would look brand new. But I just wanted to stop getting, a bunch of dust all over myself every time I touched it. So yeah, got it all dried up. Might just peel that sticker off, give it a quick buff, and see what it looks like. All right, so I'm all done. Got this thing put back together. I'm gonna do some more bench testing to make sure that after tearing it apart and putting it back together, it still works just fine. And then, we can put it in the truck and start playing around with real-time tuning. The real reason I really wanted to do this was for the Firebird, because I'm not gonna have a bass tune to go off of because it's totally different than the truck. So gonna have to get back working on that thing. The next thing I'm gonna be working on that is the hot side. So yeah, look forward to that and stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.